Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey there, private practice heroes. It's Colaiacovo, and thanks for tuning in today to this special episode that is going live on my 15th anniversary of being a business owner. I thought about what message I wanted to share today because I know that many practice and business owners listening are trying to get to the 3-year or even the 5-year mark. Maybe you're even trying to hit that 10-year anniversary in your business. And I thought the best way to celebrate was to share what I think was the success factor for me, or actually 15 success factors for me. Celebrating wins is something many business and practice owners forget to do. And I will tell you, I am in that category as well. It's hard to take the time to make sure we acknowledge our work and our successes, no matter how big or small. But I do know now how important this is to do, because it makes a huge difference in how we see ourselves and feel about ourselves. And it truly does build our confidence and helps us achieve the goals that lead to our success. But I'll be honest, I didn't always feel that way. Back in 2019, I was asked to speak at a conference on the success I've had with my first business, which was as a virtual assistant. And it meant taking a little time to reflect on how I got there. At that stage, I was about 11 years into business. And in 2015, I had left the VA business and had moved on to more of marketing, consulting, training, and coaching. So I started doing some thinking, and what I came up with kind of shocked me, to be honest. Now, I had prepped for a talk that I had done previously, so I knew that back in 2017, I had hit an awesome milestone, $1 million in revenue. Cumulative revenue, yes, but still, 9 years after I started my business, I had achieved revenues billed of $1 million. Which was phenomenal when I really started thinking about it, because I never ever thought of being a business owner in the first place. And if you've never heard that story, basically I started my business because someone told me I should and they thought I would be really good at it. I guess they were right. But this is a milestone that would have taken me over 25 years to achieve at the last job I had when I was with a bank, which is what I did before I started my business. 25 years, imagine. And it actually took me only 9. That's when I started thinking about how certain decisions I've made over the years led me to that place, and how I've stayed in business ever since and had even more success, which has continued on, honestly, at an exponential rate since then. I called the talk back then The Power of One, my virtual assistant journey to $1 million. Because my reflection and research I did at the time had me realize that during those 9 years, there were times when I focused on one specific action or one thing in different areas of my business and life. And in the long run, those one actions made a huge difference in my results. Now, the day I'm publishing this episode of the podcast, it is another milestone for me. It is 15 years in business. July 28th, 2008 was the day I opened my business and registered my business for the first time. So I kind of think 15 years is a milestone worth celebrating on its own, no matter what else happens. So to celebrate my win of being in business for 15 years, I want to share with you some of those lessons of the power of one. 15 lessons, in fact. And I'm going to share with you 15 ideas that hopefully will inspire you to focus on your own power of one, so that you can make sure that you grow your own practice or business and thrive and get to whatever goals you're looking to reach, and stay in business for however long you want to stay in business as well. So let's dive into these 15 power of one lessons. Now, the first item on my list is having the mindset of a CEO from day one. And this was critical for my success, if you ask me. I ran my business as a business. I knew I had to wear all the hats, and I knew that I was no longer an employee and nobody would be telling me what to do, and that I had to figure out my own solutions. I also had to find my own clients if I wanted to make money. So I really did have this mindset from the very beginning. And it is something that I see a lot of people missing, especially when they were in the virtual assistant industry that I started in. Because that particular industry, you're often coming there as an employee from elsewhere. I do see it a lot with dietitians as well. A lot of them come from the clinical background. So they were an employee, and they're often trying to leave that environment and move into an environment where they call all the shots. So if you want to make sure this is happening, you've got to have that mindset of being the CEO of your business. The second action that I took was I was always a member of one industry-based membership. So back then, it was virtual assistant groups or associations. And I not only participated and joined them as a member, but I joined some of the boards as a volunteer. I took on executive roles as well. And I'll be honest, some of those roles and my time as a volunteer led to other opportunities that I never dreamed would ever happen. And I'm going to explain some of that later on. The third action that I really found as a common factor was professional development and taking one program each year. So every year I've been in business, I have always taken at least one training program or joined a membership group that involved training. Training is a line item in my budget. I plan every year to spend money and take a training of some sort. Yes, I've definitely done free ones, but I ensure that every year I invest in myself too. These programs are often the ones that have helped me shift and change some of my mindset, some of my skills, and some of the actions I take to grow my business every year. I am a firm believer in learning, and in particular that as business owners, we have to take some time to make sure that we are developing our own skills and learning something new that we can bring to the business, to our clients, or even to our life. So professional development, I think, is key here, and you want to make sure you take at least one program a year. Number 4 in this list is having one core service or offer for your ideal client. Now, back when I started, it used to be online marketing support. That was my core service when I had a VA team and we supported clients. Now it's really the Thrive Marketing Academy. That is my one main core offer that I have. Having one main offer like this will help you reach the right people too. And it keeps you from offering so many items and services and programs and products that people get lost and confused in how you can help them. So for me, I now offer 3 main things. One is private coaching, marketing and strategy. I have the group option in the Thrive Marketing Academy, or I have self-study programs that I offer as well. Now, behind the scenes, I'll be honest, there are a select few clients that I still work with doing their marketing support and strategy, and I help them with the support of my team of virtual assistants. But I don't advertise this area of the business because I'm not looking to grow in that area. I'm looking to really grow with the training and the group coaching that I offer. When you have one core service, it's a lot easier for people to understand how you can help. So one of the things that you can do is reflect back and look at your services page, your offers that you have, and think about how many do you have? Is it clear to people what you have? Dialing it down to one core service will help people understand more how you can help them, and that's when they're going to sign up and work with you. Number 5 in this list is knowing your one ideal client. So you really want to know exactly who you want to work with. You cannot work with everyone, even though I know some of you will be out there saying, well, anybody could work with me for my services or programs. I promise you, when you narrow this down and change your messaging to speak to that one ideal client, things will change. And you have to remember, it's not that you can't work with others, but you want your messaging to speak to that main group, that core ideal client, that one person you really want to work with. And it's how you specialize in an area. People will soon get to know you as that person who helps people with this specific thing. And this doesn't happen when you are trying to sell your services or programs or products to everyone. So if your service is open to a broader group of people, try narrowing it down by the problem that they have and using that as the way to define your one ideal client. Because it won't be the same for everyone. And as I said earlier, you can't work with everybody. You've got to make it a little more clear to people who you help so that they understand and can identify that they are the person that you can help. Number 6 in this is always having one core networking group. I think it's important that you know the value of your networks and your networking events. So I do think that one thing that you should do is track some of the sales and the results that you get if it's coming from your time networking in a group or your time spending with certain people in different groups. Knowing this information helps you know where to focus your time. And it also helps you know when you might need to leave a group behind too. And I've had this happen to me as well. Being part of a networking group should be a give and receive type of relationship, benefiting both sides of the equation. Because if it's all one-sided, someone will lose out. And I can promise you that if you're networking in certain groups and you're not paying attention to the results you get from your groups, if you're not tracking, consults and sales from consults and people coming and connecting with you, you may not know if certain groups are helping you. So tracking your numbers and knowing where your sales and where your connections are coming from is important to understand if those specific networking groups are helping or hindering your business. Number 7 on the list is speaking at one event every year. Now, this might not be a fit for everyone. I get that. I used to be the person who used to faint when they had to talk in front of people. So I hear you. But I really have made a point of speaking at least one event every year. And when I started, it was small events, like just speaking in front of my local networking group that I met with every week. You've got to start somewhere. And the more you get comfortable talking to groups like this, the more it will help you reach new people and grow your business. So no matter how big or small we're talking about, speaking somewhere somehow is key. So try to find that one event a year that you can speak at. And if you can do more, definitely go for more. Number 8 is attending one in-person conference every year. Now, I don't mean virtual. I do mean in person. But I will say for me, these fell off the wagon after COVID shut the world down in 2020. But I'm starting to get back into this mode and get out there to some in-person conferences. And I will tell you, the conferences I've attended over the years have literally changed my life and my business. The contacts and the skills and the relationships forged from going to these in-person events, they made a huge difference in my business. And I've also met some of my favorite people in the world and some of my best friends in the world at some of these conferences. I actually did a blog once, and I will look that up and link to it in the show notes, that tracked back almost $750,000 in revenue to the very first conference I ever attended back in 2009. I went there soon after I opened my business, well, about 9 months after, I think. And I will tell you the skills and the people that I met or learned at that conference changed everything for me. Tons of opportunities followed because of those two things, the skills and the people. And I will tell you right now, you cannot succeed and grow if you live in a silo and never get out and connect with people in person or get out and learn new skills at a conference or an event in person. It is important that you have that connection, you get the training, the people, the skills. It can make a huge difference for you. And that also leads to number 9 when it comes to this list of actions that have helped me over the past 15 years. Always work with one main business coach. Now, this for me started in 2011 when I invested in myself by working with a business coach. And I will tell you, I invested a lot in this. It was almost $2,000 a month. I don't know why I said almost. It was $2,000 a month to work with my business coaches back then. The lessons I learned that year and the lessons and the connections I made from the mastermind group that was part of their program Well, I will tell you, those relationships and that information made a huge difference in my business success. There are lessons I learned from them to this day I still refer to and use. Now, since then, I've definitely worked with other coaches as well, but I always have one main coach I'm working with because they help me up level what I'm doing. And I highly encourage you to work with a coach, someone who will be there to offer you guidance and advice and a different perspective on your business and how you can thrive. Number 10, kind of connected to the coach, is get one accountability partner. Now, for me, I started with an accountability partner way back, I think in 2010 or 11 as well. It's somebody I actually met at the first conference I ever went to for my business. Shout out to Tracy Daviero from the Canadian Association of Virtual Assistants and yourvamentor.com. We went to that first conference together. I didn't know her. I needed a roommate. She was looking for a roommate. I asked her if she wanted to be roommates so we could save money. And we connected really well and are the best of friends now and accountability partners. She totally understands my business model, but she comes with a different perspective too. And that makes a big difference for me. This is a meeting I have on my calendar every other week and it doesn't change. And neither one of us really change the time because we consider this business meeting almost sacred time. It is critical to our success. And having this mindset about accountability meetings is why I think our success as accountability partners has endured and why we both still get a lot from this relationship. Finding an accountability partner can definitely be a challenge, but when you get the right one, it will be worth it. And you will find that person who is there as a sounding board and a guiding voice that will help your business grow and thrive. So I highly encourage you to find an accountability partner. Number 11 in the list is related to social media. I started out as a social media specialist and I've never let it go. Social media definitely can help a business, but I do believe that you should focus on one main social media channel. This is something I've done since way back in 2008 when I first started using social media for my business. Knowing what channel is helping your business also comes from tracking your stats and your numbers and having the data that tells you this information. So it is key for you to be tracking this information. And if you've never gotten your hands on my free stats tracking template, I will put a link to that in the show notes as well. It'll get you started on keeping some of these numbers that are going to help you with the social media, with the networking groups, and other things as well. But using this data so that you know what social media channels are helping your business is most important so that you know and understand where you should be focusing your time and energy when it comes to social media. I do think it can help businesses grow, but I don't think you should be spending hours and hours a day there either. And your social media channel, that main one, will probably shift over time. Mine definitely has. I started with Twitter, then it shifted to my Facebook business page, and now Instagram is the main one that is helping my business. And it shifts and my focus shifts because I pay attention to the numbers that tell me is it worth it or not worth it? Because remember, you don't have to be everywhere and on every social media channel. Just focus on one main one. Number 12 in this list is having one big goal every year. Now, you can definitely have more than one, but I think it's important for everybody to set, I think they used to call them these BHAG goals, these big, hairy, audacious goals. I just like to set a big goal. I like to have my main goal. I do typically set about 6 goals each year, but I have one big focus goal. And that goal is often the one that guides a lot of my business planning and the activities that I do every year. It's typically a financial goal or related to number of students or people signing up for programs. Having that big goal is really the one that will help you take some risks so that you can achieve your goals and keep on going and growing as well. Number 13 in this list is related to marketing, and it is all about creating one consistent new piece of marketing content, ideally every week, but we'll talk about every month, okay? Now, if you think you can be in business and not do consistent marketing, you are fooling yourself. Kevin Costner, my fabulous friend Kevin, is the only one who can build it and they will come. The rest of us, we need to be marketing our businesses to get new leads and new clients to have that business. So if you've been listening to my podcast or been in my community for any amount of time, you know my philosophy on this is to create that one article, your anchor content, and repurpose it to use for your other marketing content. One piece of marketing content consistently. That article becomes your newsletter, your blog, and the basis for your online and digital marketing content. Now, if you're creating all new content for everywhere, you're probably wasting a lot of time and energy, my friend. Creating way too much content is actually what people are doing more than not doing enough. And it's probably why you might feel like all you ever do is marketing, which is what a lot of my clients tell me. Step back, start planning, and follow my MVP marketing system that I talked about in episodes 50 and 51 of the podcast. This shares how you can be effective with your marketing with just 1 hour a week by following the MVP system, which is your minimum viable plan. So start there and start with an article just once a month even to start. Follow up, and if you listen to episode 50 of the podcast, it will share with you what you can do if you had just 1 hour a week for marketing. So follow the MVP system for that 1 hour a week. It will work and it will keep you regular, as all my IBS and gut health dietitians like to say. But I'm actually talking about marketing regular, not the other kind of thing. So one consistent new piece of marketing content, ideally weekly, but if you need to start monthly, that's fine. And let's work you up to every 2 weeks and then once a week. Number 14 in this list is practice lead generation and build an email list from day one. I've always had an email list right from the very first day I started as a virtual assistant, because an email list is really a list of prospects, people who could become a client for your business or your practice. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, practice owners, and business owners, a lot of them think that lead generation is only for big companies, but it's not. Businesses of all sizes need to be generating leads on a regular basis. It is key to your growth. You've got to be identifying and building that list with names and emails one way or another in order to have a pool of potential clients. So whether it's manual leads you collect in person or online ones where you use a lead magnet or a combo of both, always be generating leads and build that email list from day one. Now, the last one on our list here is number 15, and this is being open when any one opportunity comes your way. One thing that I've noticed over the past 15 years in business is that I was always open to new ideas and opportunities when they presented themselves. Did they always work out? No, but they sure have paid off when they did. And sometimes you might not realize that certain things could be opportunities you never expect to lead anywhere. You just need to be open to think about what the possibilities could be from those one opportunities when they show up. A perfect example for me was back in 2013. Someone reached out to me by way of a connection that I had from being on a volunteer board of directors. And they were looking for a virtual assistant expert to join Bob Proctor's group of experts that he brought into his Matrix events in Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. Now, for those who may not know Bob, he was a giant in the personal development industry. He had a hand in the movie The Secret, and his business had a far reach with people all over the world. And he would run these Matrix training events in Toronto where people would come for a week to work with him. And he brought in experts that could be there to help those students that came to work with him if they needed help in certain areas of the business. So being one of these experts meant flying to Toronto on my own dime and staying there for several days, 3 times a year typically. It also meant coming up with a short presentation for the students there who were working with Bob all week. And we would go up and do these presentations. And if they thought that you were the person who had some expertise that could help them, they would book a 20-minute meeting with you. We did a whole day, morning and afternoon, of these 20-minute meetings. Everybody got an opportunity to see if the expert they were looking to talk to could be someone that would help them. And if it was a good connection, they turned into a client and would work with me. Nothing was guaranteed from this opportunity, and it was not a paid opportunity either. Now, I can tell you somebody else I know was offered the exact same opportunity, but they weren't interested in shelling out money with no guarantee. Me, I was. I saw it for what it was, and it was a big opportunity. So I said yes. And for 3 years, I paid my way to Toronto, paid for my hotel and my food and all the expenses that come with attending an event like this. That yes to that one opportunity that someone else frankly dismissed as not worthy turned into so many connections of people and clients over the years. And that yes for me has turned into over $150,000 in income since then, which is not bad when you think about I paid probably about $1,200 to $1,500 each trip. I did it 9 times over 3 years, so a total investment of about $15,000 that turned into income of $150,000. A pretty darn good ROI if you ask me. And it was all because I was open to that particular opportunity. So my lesson on this is be open to new opportunities because you never know when one of them will be a big one. And I've had many more over the years. I just don't have enough time to tell you all about them today. But some of them were pretty awesome, I will say. And that is my list of 15 actions that have helped me thrive for 15 years in business. I'll give you a quick recap of them to go over them. And I'm also going to put an image of them together and put them on the show notes page so you can download them and have them as a reminder. Number 1, have the mindset of a CEO from day one. Number 2, always be a member of one industry membership. Number 3 is professional development. Take one program every year. Number 4 is have one core service or offer for your ideal client. Number 5 is know who your one ideal client is. Number 6, always have one core networking group. But remember, that can change over time. Speak at one event a year and attend one in-person conference every year. Always work with one main coach. Get one accountability partner. Focus on one main social media channel. And we're at number 12 here. Have one big goal every year. Number 13 is create one consistent new piece of marketing content. Ideally weekly, but we can start with monthly, okay? Number 14 is practice lead generation and build an email list from day one. And number 15 is be open when any one opportunity comes your way. And your action step today, take this list of 15 things, download the image, and look at them all. They are 15 actions, and each one is powerful on its own. And think about them and think about how you can incorporate any one or all of them into your business or your practice. Because I promise you, the power of one can be so much more than most people realize. This is Kathy Colaiacovo. Thanks for listening in today and celebrating this milestone of my 15 years in business. And remember, to thrive in practice, it can start with one small action, or maybe 15 one small actions. And those actions could turn into so much more than you ever realize. I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.